How's it going, everybody? Seeing again. I want to talk to you guys tonight about the word opinion. We use that word opinion a lot in this country. We just kind of throw it around to describe a lot of things that really shouldn't be considered opinions. But there's a lot of people who just use it because, first of all, they don't know how to tell the difference, but also mostly because they're trying to hedge their bets. They're trying to make sure that nobody can get mad at them or look down on them for what they're saying because, oh, it's just my opinion. The thing is, a lot of those so-called opinions shouldn't really be classified as opinions. They can be proven wrong. And unfortunately, you learn in high school or elementary school, facts are things that are indisputably true, opinions are things that can't really be proven, but they don't give you as many of the tools as you probably should have to try and help determine the difference between facts and opinions. So I want to talk a little bit about them today. The first one that is really important that every person should know about, should be taught in elementary school, is it's called the principle of non-contradiction. The principle of non-contradiction tells us that if two ideas flatly contradict each other, one of those ideas must be false. We know this. If two ideas, statements, concepts are flatly contradicting each other, we know someone's wrong. Now, they can both be wrong, but we know at least one of them is wrong, for certain. If somebody tells you it's raining outside, and then somebody else tells you, no, it's bright and sunny outside, it's perfect. I can't tell you which one of those people is wrong without going outside, but I can tell you this, one of those people is wrong. One of those people is lying. I can tell that for certain. What they just said, those aren't opinions. One of those people just stated something that was patently false and can be proven false by just walking outside. Okay? And this is true about just about any two statements. If you make two statements and they flatly contradict each other, we know that one of those is false. Okay? It's not an opinion. That person is wrong. Can't always tell which one it is. Sometimes it's harder to tell which one it is, but somebody is wrong. Okay? The second idea is there's a concept in formal logic. It's called an axiom. A-X-I-O-M. It's a fancy word, great for Scrabble. You've maybe heard, if you ever watched Star Trek, you might have heard Spock use it a bunch of times. An axiom is a statement that is considered to be indisputably true. Now, or self-evidently true, I guess is the right word, more appropriately. Now, sometimes when you hear an axiom, it can almost seem like an opinion, but an axiom is designed to form the building blocks of a formal argument. Okay. And what needs to happen is if you're trying to have a discussion, if you're trying to have an argument where you hope to be fruitful and to accomplish something, you need to start somewhere. You need to start from a place where we can both agree, hey, this is true. And once you've established that this is true, then you can show, using the principle of contradiction, that anything that contradicts that is false. Okay? That's how you can have a rational discussion and show where someone is actually just flat out wrong. Prove them wrong. So it's not just their opinion, but hey, that's not your opinion. I just proved you wrong. Okay? Now, with an axiom, generally sometimes an axiom can be a fact. Other times, like I said, it can be look sort of like opinion. But it's important that everyone is on the same page and agrees with it. So let's take this to politics for example to kind of show you how this works. Our founding fathers were very well versed in formal logic. Most Americans today, and not so much. They were very well educated. They were educated elitist liberals. No matter how much Republicans want to hate to hear that, they were. Okay, and they knew a lot about logic. And if you look at what their writings and some of the things they've said, they knew what they were doing. They picked out words very, very specifically. They gave us axioms to start with. And the most important, the biggest one that sticks out more than any of them all comes from the first sentence of the second paragraph of the Declaration of Independence. And it says, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal." You notice the words they use there. Self-evident. Truth. They didn't say, we kind of think maybe all men should be created. No. They said that is a self-evident truth. They used those words for a reason because they were laying out an axiom. If you want to call yourself an American, if you want to say you believe in America, you must accept that is the truth. It's not an opinion. All men are created equal. That's a fact. Particularly if you want to live in America and call yourself an American. You accept that as a fact, as the truth. Okay? You don't get to argue with that. You don't get to disagree with that. That statement is true. So when you start from that, anything that flatly contradicts that can be shown as false. And you don't get to just go around, well, that's my opinion. No. You flatly contradicted a statement we know is self-evidently true. So if you don't like that, if you can't handle that, you don't belong here. This isn't your country. You're not ready for this, okay? You have to accept that as the truth. And if you can't, you're the one that needs to leave, all right? So this is very important. And when you hear so much of what I hear today in our politics with this president who is very clearly a bigot, very clearly a racist, a misogynist, a xenophobe, a homophobe, you name it, any whatever, okay? And I hear all the time from his piece of shit supporters who say things like, "Oh, you're a bigot. You hate me because you disagree with my opinion." No, we do not. What you are arguing for, what you're advocating for, flatly contradicts the axiom that this country was founded on. The idea that all men are created equal. It doesn't say all men from this side of the Atlantic. It doesn't say all white men. It doesn't say all Christians. It says all men. And of course, we've extended that. Men as we refer to that as women too. It's just people. But all men. Doesn't matter if they're from Mexico, doesn't matter if they're from Saudi Arabia, Iran, wherever they're from, they were created equally. And if you are trying to treat certain people differently based on the things that the circumstances of their birth, then you are flatly contradicting the founding axiom of this country. So you're not expressing opinion. You're just wrong. And you need to wake the fuck up and understand that. That is not okay. You don't get to disagree with that idea. You do not get to treat people differently just because they're from a different country or a different skin color. Okay? The circumstances you are born into are not your fault. And nobody's individual circumstances make them better or worse than anybody else. You do not get to judge people on that. Martin Luther King Jr. said, he didn't say we shouldn't judge people. He said we should judge them on the content of their character, not the color of their skin. What he's saying is the same basic thing. You do not get to judge people based on how they are created. You can judge people on how they act, on how they treat other people, which is why you can talk to bigots like shit. Bigotry is bad, and we can say that. Why we can say that most Donald Trump supporters are shitty people because they have bad character, because they judge people based on the color of their skin, based on the country of their origin, based on their sexual orientation, things that these people have little or no control over. So it's important when you hear people say things like, "That's just my opinion." Take a second, take a step back, because not everything is an opinion. We have a right to judge certain people on what they believe. And if what they believe is horrible, if what they believe flatly contradicts the founding concepts, the axioms that this country was founded on, then fuck those people. They don't belong here. They don't deserve this. And we are more than free to judge them for what they're saying. Thank you.